So in terms of just some context settings, I've worked, as Brenda said, for a number of technology companies that are making or have made the transition from on-prem to SaaS. And I want to use this opening slide just to talk about some of the myths, you know, the untruths that we have to bust in terms of that transition. So the first myth, the selling motion for SaaS is not the same as for on-prem because the buying motion is different. So many times I've had debates, particularly with product management, that just offer, you know, just do what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing for our on-prem as you're doing for our SaaS solutions. No disrespect to product management, and I am a product guy, the selling motion is not the same. The second myth that we're going to talk about today is an on-prem product or hosted on-prem product offered as a subscription model is not the same offering as a born in the cloud SaaS solution. And certainly from the panel discussion today, we're going to explore those differences, talk you through some of those, and hopefully you'll share your experiences as well. So let's look at, you know, some of the myth busting. The whole language around on-prem and selling and buying on-prem is very different. So here's a list of some of what we would see as the common terms and jargon that salespeople and the buyers deal with and trade with. And Brenda, if you can hit the equivalent now for SaaS, please. So you can see that the language is changing. Instead of pricing, we're talking fees, annual recurring revenue, monthly recurring revenue. These are key things. The whole area of the commercial contracts is switching now from just a pure EULA to what's your cloud services agreement or your data processing agreement. And as we see later in the discussion, all of these different language terms and deliverables can really impact the sales motion, the buyers, the sales cycle, and we'll talk through that. The next slide, please, Brenda. And the other thing again is the buyers have very different questions during the sales cycle. You know, typically for on-prem, it's a captive solution. You're responsible for the infrastructure as well as buying the actual software or additional equipment that you want to deploy to run your particular business need. But if we look here, let's look at, if we bring in the next piece, what's different, Brenda, for SaaS? Again, it's a whole different language set, a whole lot of different deliverables. A classic one, and these are some of the gotchas. When you buy an on-premise product, you're responsible for the integration, the configuration, the upgrades. So taking product features is very much a choice that you're in control of. When you switch to a born in the cloud SaaS offering, you may not have the choice to make which features are available to you or not. Some platforms you can switch them on and off, but many solutions out there, you get the roadmap when the new release comes out, and that may have implications for your business. In the current business model, security is paramount. So there's much more discussion, more questions around what security credentials you've got. Are you SOC 2 compliant? What's your data sovereignty? Where is that data held? You know, depending on whether you're operating in a global market, North America, Europe, and we see more and more. So again, think of this from a buyer and the seller perspective. The language, the terminology, the deliverables into the buying teams for review are very different. And then finally, Brenda, just to set the context, the next slide. And again, a question then to ask then is, or several questions here, are the buyers different between on-prem and SaaS? We believe that they are. We believe that there's many more personas involved, and you can see quite a range of people here. Typically in on-prem, IT have a significant influence on the buying decision, the evaluation selection, typically with the line of business, divisional manager, and the procurement team. But now in the world of SaaS, you're bringing in the InfoSec team more and more. You may need to bring in operations, finance, legal, compliance. Now those additional buy-in teams may be involved in on-prem, but we definitely see them more prevalent in the world of SaaS. The other thing that we'll tease out during the discussion and it's a big debate. Does SaaS mean that you have a faster sales cycle or a longer sales cycle? And it really depends. We see both. For our business, we see for SMB business, SaaS offers us a really fast sales cycle, but at enterprise level, people want to know more about security, they want to do audits, they want to do proof of concepts. So does that slow the buying cycle down? Let's have a discussion with the panel on that.